Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Make some noise!
What's cracking, dog? What it do? This is R2 Radio. R2 Radio? With the homeboy Roro and your homegirl Risa. Check it out.
Exclusive interview with Mr.Doodle.
What's up, everybody? I'm Roro, American rapper, producer from Orlando, Florida, and I'm here with
bilingual singer-songwriter Risa.
and we are R2 Radio. And today we're at the Daikanyama Hillside Forum to interview artist Mr.Doodle. So welcome back to Japan. Thank you. Thank you for sitting with us today.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So I see you come to Asia often. How many times have you been to Japan?
This is my second time to Japan.
Second time? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah. My first time was in February earlier this year. For,
This year?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
for Art Fair Tokyo, and then I come back in a couple of weeks for an exhibition in Kyoto.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. So you're
Yeah.
going to be coming here back and forth. So I know Tokyo is like, just Japan is different from any other place around the world. When you first came here, did you get any like culture shock moments or like get shocked or anything?
I kind of thought what was really interesting to me was how busy the streets were, but how kind of respectful people are of no one kind of bumps into each other or anything.
yeah.
Everyone's moving in kind of choreography. It's amazing. Yeah, but it's a very nice place.
I see. So I know people are probably wondering, Japanese food. Do you like any Japanese food?
Yeah, absolutely. There's not been anything that I haven't liked so
So you've been
far.
eating everything?
Yeah. Yeah, I really love it. Yeah.
What about natto? Have you tried natto?
I don't think so.
Don't
No,
think
not
so,
that,
yeah.
but everything, kind of everything fried and like all that stuff's great, and I love all of it. Yeah, very tasty food.
Oh, well, great.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy you're here, and this exhibition is really nice. So, for your exhibition here in Tokyo,
Yeah.
what is the theme or what is it about? Can you explain that for us?
So the exhibition's called Doodle Tokyo, and lots of it kind of has themes that I thought were kind of relevant to Japan or Tokyo in general, such as the collaboration with Hello Kitty, and I've always felt there was a relationship between my work and video games and cartoons, and a lot of those video games I was interested in as a child stemmed from things like Nintendo and games that came from Japan. So it's really nice to be here to be able to kind of represent my work and the links to that. But then there's some more subtle stuff that's a bit more just kind of freestyle doodles that I like to do.
Oh, I see.
So it's a nice mix, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So let's take it back to the beginning. What inspired you to, do art, do what you do?
Well, I've always just loved drawing since I can remember, really. I always find it's just the most fun way to express myself, and it's so accessible. You can kind of do it wherever you are, like at any time. It doesn't make any kind of noise. You can do it in like a bus or a train or wherever you are, really. And I love the fact I could see my work kind of producing at like kind of large scales, and I just found it really interesting to kind of let my kind of ideas flow onto paper and onto walls, and I love kind of taking over things. So I've always had a fascination with sort of consuming surfaces with my drawings, and it was kind of things like seeing like Disney World and Walt Disney's work and video games and cartoons as a child that really made me want to kind of create these characters that I made.
Oh, so everything just came together and this is what it is.
Yeah.
I see. So have your art, was it always doodles or was it some different type of art?
It started as doodles, and then I tried some different stuff because my teachers, some teachers that I had thought that the doodles wouldn't really be enough in themselves to sort of create a career out of. But everything that I tried, it just sort of stemmed back to doodling eventually because that was what came naturally and what I felt like I had to do. So I tried some different stuff, but it always went back to doodling, and that's kind of became my identity when I was younger. So I just tried to absorb that and kind of electrify that identity.
I see. So, Mr. Doodle, I know it's kind of self-explanatory to what you do, but is there a story behind your name? Did somebody say, "Hey, Mr. Doodle," and then you're like, "You know what? That's a nice name." You stuck with it, or how did you come up with it?
That is kind of what happened. So I basically like drew over my bedroom and all my like furniture in my room, and I started drawing on my clothes. And I went into university one day dressed up in my outfit. With like kind of hand-drawn trousers and a shirt and everything, and a suitcase and a hat. And one of my tutors took a photo of me and put it on Instagram and said, Sam Cox, Mr. Doodle, his first day at work. And then I thought, oh yeah, that's cool, and kind of went on from there really. And I just thought that was a nice name, and it doesn't need to be complicated or anything. I want the work to be very accessible to everyone in the world. So I like to keep things kind of simple.
I remember when I first saw your Instagram page like 2-3 years ago, like on a popular art page they were sharing. I'm like, man, this is interesting. And it's like so amazing now to see like you've grown like to 2 million followers and you're traveling doing your art. How much has the internet and Instagram helped your career?
Oh, I think the internet's like just the best thing can be the best thing for artists. It's also like a huge source of distraction, but if you use it in the right way, then it's like a perfect tool. And I think that if you know, it's like this amazing, it's like a material, like a paintbrush or a pencil that you know you can use, and it can really amplify your career if you do it in the right way. And I think I love to put my work out there because I really want kind of everyone all around the world to be able to enjoy it. So Instagram and Facebook and everything really allows me to do that. It's really fun, definitely. It's been a huge help.
Did you know it was going to get as big as it has gotten now?
I thought that I would sort of maybe aim to get as big as it's gotten now at the end of my career, maybe. Like I didn't think it would go so far. Yeah. So I'm really happy about it. It's amazing how some things just kind of stick with the things that get shared on the art pages, and I just like to put out as much as I can and let people like have the content, share the content, and then I really kind of want my drawings to kind of take over the world. So by putting out as much as I can, I think that helps that definitely.
Oh yeah, you always post it, like every time I open Instagram, oh, post it again. Like, you know, so I know doodling is like freestyle drawing, but do you think of anything when you doodle?
Usually not. I don't try and think about it too much. I think that one of the problems I struggled with when I was younger with artwork and everything was whenever I thought too much about the work, it would suffer because of it, and it would feel very rigid and not very fluid at all. So the less I thought too much, it really helped it. So I try not to put too much pressure on it, and my brain now naturally goes to like a different place. So usually even when I'm doing like the live drawing and stuff, I'll just be thinking about like some TV show or you know something completely random, and I forget like where I am, and that helps the work feel very just natural, and it connects all the characters much smoother when I don't try and specify it too much. But sometimes I will put in slight themes and direct the work in a certain way, but it's kind of like guiding a ship towards somewhere rather than kind of pre-planning everything. Like I never try and sketch anything, I just let it kind of build itself.
Oh, I see. So your process before you start doodling, do you have anything you do, like maybe you drink coffee or do you have anything, or you just go straight and just start doodling?
I just go straight into it. I feel like it's like jumping into a cold swimming pool or something, and you can kind of like think about it too much, but if you just go in, then
it's like just go in.
Yeah, and it's like a jigsaw because it all builds off itself. So you do a couple of characters and everything fits next to that. So it's got a domino effect, and once you make the first move, then it's so much easier after that.
I see. see. Okay, so when you doodle, do you ever listen to music? And if so, like what's on Mr. Doodle's playlist?
Sometimes I do listen to music. I like recently listening to some like old classical music, like just Beethoven and stuff like that, or whatever's on these like playlists. I don't always know who it is, but I just listen to that. And often I'll listen to video game soundtracks because it takes me back to like when I was a kid and all the stuff that inspired me back then. Listening to that really helps make the characters very kind of cute and fun and you know, like Mario kind of music and stuff. So it's perfect for that. Yeah.
I see. Well, now you seem to be doing pretty good for yourself. But when you first started, was there any like hardships, like trying to get people to understand your style of art?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's still plenty of people that I like, kind of some of the like members of the family, like the grandparents still don't totally understand exactly like what I'm doing, but I mean they can see that it's working in a way, so they love seeing that, and everyone's so supportive. But there'll always be a struggle, I think, to get people to understand that like doodling can really be like a career in itself, because but it's something that everyone can do, but it's also like that shouldn't mean that no one can do it as like an actual job, you know. I think that there'll just always be a struggle, but I think the struggle is good because it really kind of motivates you to kind of keep going. I like kind of having a challenge to get around.
I see. So growing up and doodling, did you have any influences or artists you looked up to?
Yeah, I mean, like my favorite person that I looked up to was Walt Disney, really, because just because of, and not so much because of the style of the artwork, but how big he kind of made his world was really fascinating to me. Like he took this idea and turned it into theme parks and films, and you know, that's like the ultimate artwork to me. You know, it's almost an unbeatable kind of thing what he did. I see it as that, so that's a really huge inspiration for me.
I see.
Yeah.
I seen you did a 50-hour doodle marathon. What gave you the idea to do that?
Well, I love drawing like all day, every day, usually for somewhere between 12 and 15 hours a day, just always working.
Wow.
Like I love kind of putting out loads of energy into it because I feel it kind of inside, and right now, while I've got the energy, I feel like I've got to get it out there in case one day I just wake up and never want to draw again for some reason. So I wanted to express that by doing a 50-hour doodle marathon because I felt like I had that in me, and I wanted people to know that I could do it and also prove it to myself as well. So
it's a challenge to you.
Yeah. But it was very crazy. I mean, there was times during the session where I just was looking at what I was drawing, and it just looked like the characters they didn't look like faces anymore. It just looked like shapes, and I couldn't understand it. I got so tired.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 50 hours, you know, how many times did you eat? How many times did you take a break during that time?
Well, there's no real breaks. I mean, they would give me like a sandwich, and I'd, you know, carry on going while I'd eat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I kind of made a promise to sort of always have my pen on something, you know, even like at all times. So there was no real breaks at all.
For 50 hours?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Fingers, it's not hurt?
The fingers usually don't so much because I tend to draw with my arms, so I sort of move the pen like this. The arm got a little bit tired, I guess, but it never felt like exhausting in a physical sense. It was just a mental kind of journey, really, of ups and downs, but it was good in the end. Yeah.
So after 50 hours, what do you do after doing?
I go to sleep.
Go to sleep. I mean, I guess that's simple.
Yeah, but it was tough going to sleep because when you keep yourself up for that long, you tend to I got into bed and I'd just be like, because
get it up, doodle it. Well, that's crazy.
Yeah, just your body kind of jilts itself up because you're so used to when you're doing it and you almost fall asleep, you've got to wake yourself up. So when you go to sleep, your body's used to waking yourself up. So I couldn't sleep for about an hour after actually finishing. And that was quite scary because I thought I'd never be able to get to sleep.
So I say you did it for charity. Did you reach your goal with that?
Yeah, well, we were just hoping to get past a certain point, but we raised a few thousand for the charity, so we were really happy in the end, yeah. And the charity was really pleased, and anything for a good cause like that is just great, because I really wanted to do it just because of the challenge, but for it to be able to raise money as well was like two purposes which were perfect to meet, yeah.
Do you plan on doing anything like that? Anything longer or?
Maybe, but I think that was a couple of years ago, and now like the career's kind of gone in a like good direction, and it's riskier doing something like that now. But if I did do it, I definitely want to document the whole thing and get someone to kind of record it so it could see if it was a record or something, because last time we didn't do that. And
oh really? Oh,
yeah.
Could have been a Guinness or something like that.
Yeah, we should have got someone out really, but we just didn't do it, which is a shame, because it's like it was a lot of work, but we couldn't really document it properly. Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the exhibition, your online presence, the Instagram, it seems like you have like an intense work ethic. Where did that drive come from?
My parents are quite hard-working, but also my teachers at school, they pushed me quite a lot. One particular teacher I had, he was kind of the first teacher I had that told me kind of that some of my drawings weren't really good enough. Like all the other teachers just kind of let me kind of carry on and thought, oh, he's doing his thing, and we'll support him. But this teacher was like, no, you need to take this and make it go further. And he would like kind of grade me down, and I'd be like, what's going on?
Really?
So then I started staying up late and trying to do better and build what I was doing. And I would stay up till like 3 or 4 in the morning when I was like 14 or 15, just making these huge journals for my graphics coursework, and I just really wanted to build something from that. And then since then, seeing the result of that, I just never really got out of that work ethic. And it's just something that I feel it's always like feels good when I do it, and if I feel like I haven't drawn enough one day, it just feels so bad. So I'm just trying to avoid that feeling really.
So I guess you built up a habit, and so now it's like waking up.
Yeah. There's no question of kind of like, what am I going to do today? Because I just wake up and start, and then finish and go to sleep, and it's just a like breathing process almost.
I see.
Yeah, but it's fun though. It's great. It's really like fun to see everything. I get a real joy out of seeing everything build up and seeing the like piles of work and living in it and just seeing it every day.
I see. You seem to always draw. Do you take any days off? And if so, like, what does Mr.Doodle do on his day off?
Well, I don't really take the days off, to
really?
be honest. No. Like, it's just there's nothing else I really want to do. So, like, sometimes my parents will say, like, oh, you should really take a break or something. But if I do that, then I'm just kind of like, there's nothing that I have an itch to do anything else, I just want to draw, and it's a hobby as well as like a career.
It's not just a job, it's a hobby like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I just like it just feels empty kind of when I don't do it for too long, so I never really want to take any break from it, at least not now. Maybe one day, but for now it feels like it's something I've got to do,
I see you have a new collaboration with Fende'i, Hello Kitty here, Samsung, and many more. How did it feel when those major companies would come to you and want to work with you and use your art? How did it feel?
I felt great. Yeah, it still feels amazing. Like I can't believe it, really. I mean, I just think like it's so cool to be able to work with those companies, because I see them as like giant canvases almost. Like if I want to kind of draw over the world, using those brands and companies as platforms to show my work and work with big names, and they give me like room to do things that I couldn't do before, like drawing over like buildings and things like that. They provide that canvas for me, so that's what's really cool. And I also love the fact that it shows other people that just doodle and think that, oh, it's just doodling, that they can do that too as well. And I hope that it kind of sends that message out to anyone who maybe thinks that their artwork isn't good enough to be in a gallery, and hopefully they can pursue what they want to do as well.
Yeah, because that's a big inspiration. Just especially like I said, I've been following your work for a while, and just to see how it has grown, it's like, man, it's crazy. You know,
thank you.
It's kind of like I'm rooting for you too, because I'm watching you, and I'm like, wow, he this and this. So it's pretty cool to see.
Thank you.
So, what advice could you give to an up and coming artist, who wants to make a career in the world of art?
I would just say, like, it's all just about practicing, I think, really, and putting out as much work as you can, and documenting as much work as you can as well. Not throwing away pieces if you don't think they're good enough, because sometimes the pieces that aren't good enough are actually more valuable than the ones that are, because they're a stepping stone to getting to another place. And each bad piece you create, you kind of learn from that, and you're learning each day. And I think that it's all about, just for me, for what I do, and it might not be for everyone, but the way that I did it was just putting out loads of stuff, really, and thinking about kind of quantity over quality at the start, because it's all about kind of getting the thousands of hours behind you to give you a sense of like who you are as an artist, I think.
I see. So you've worked with many companies, but do you have any company in particular that you would like to work with in the future?
Yeah, there's a few, definitely. Like, there's some great ones I've got in mind. I don't want to speak too soon about
put it
any
out there,
particular ones.
Yeah.
But I'd really love to work with some kind of like games company in the future, I think, or something that would allow me to take over a really huge space, like a factory or a town of houses or something. Would be really cool, because I want to see the work on such large scale. That's where I get most excited from a collaboration.
Oh, I see. So what is the biggest thing that you've doodled over?
I painted over some like large murals on the sides of buildings and things, and I've painted quite large tunnel kind of installations where people can walk through, and it's on the ceiling and the walls.
Wow.
And I think that's probably was one of the largest ones I did in terms of if you added up all the square meters of drawing together. But I really want to do more in like a larger scale where the drawing's bigger itself as well, so you could kind of see it from a distance and it takes over huge kind of architecture. That would be an ideal project, definitely.
Nice, like maybe like a doodle town or something
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely, yeah.
That'd be crazy,
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
So, I see online many people compare your work to Keith Haring. Do you see any similarities, or what do you feel about that?
Yeah, certainly see some similarities, and I think that Keith Haring was a really great artist with what he did in his time, and it's a massive inspiration for kind of everyone who works in that kind of vein of working. Certainly see similarities with the kind of line work and the style of how the kind of line is placed onto a canvas and onto surfaces. I think with the content itself, the characters are different, and the kind of stuff that I draw is different, but what I really want to focus on is kind of the performance of my work and showing that through social media, and I feel like that's how I can bring something new to the art world.
Yeah, and I like your character. It seems like it's like a character, It's
Yeah.
you. It's a real person, but also it's a character.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool, and the energy that you give off with it. So
Thank you.
when you do your art, what type of energy or vibe or message are you trying to give with your art?
I'm just trying to put out a feeling of happiness to everyone with the work that I make. I try not to make any of the characters sad ever, really, because I want the work to be able to appeal to the whole universe. So I feel like that emotion is something that every human can understand. So I want to kind of keep it very basic in terms of the message that I'm putting out, because the work itself is, I call it doodling, and I want to keep that idea simple, but through kind of complex pieces, but the message itself always being about just a sense of joy for people to get when they see the work and see me draw.
I see. So thank you. That's all the questions, man. I thought we was gonna go over time, but it's like, man, you ran right through them. And so can you give a final message to the viewers and listeners out there?
Sure. Thanks for listening, everybody, and I hope that you enjoy this exhibition if you come along to Doodle Tokyo, and in a couple of weeks I'm coming to Kyoto for Doodle Kyoto. Have a doodly day.
So that concludes our interview with Mr. Doodle. We want to thank you very much for sitting down with us.
That's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
to everyone for coming today to see Doodle Tokyo. I really hope you enjoyed the exhibition and enjoyed the live performance. It's really fun to be able to draw from